Our story takes place with two background characters crying with incense in the background. The scene switches over to our protagonist with tears coming from her eyes, stating to herself that she was a piece of scrap. Our protagonist is the daughter of Baeklee Yeon. In this novel, the daughter is placed in a villain's role, thinking she has no purpose. Suddenly the scene switches to extras talking about Baeklee Yeon daughter, stating that she caused trouble for her father, but I guess even she cries because he was her father, with another stating but that doesn't change the fact she's unusable now, with Baeklee Yeon daughter crying in the background in front of her father's grave to the main charter, thinking to herself that she was trash, placed next to jewels, and villains are those who have no purpose. With a tear coming from her eyes, switching over to Baeklee Yeon headstone with candles, light and smoke in the background with captions stating but to make the main characters stand out, and with her father's death brought about memories of her past, with Baeklee Yeon daughter asking herself why this novel? Why at this time? While biting her lips, with the scene switching over to a picture Baeklee Yeon with Baeklee Yeon daughter thinking the events occurring right now are too similar to those in Miram novel I read in the past. The Master of Namgung Ryuchang, the male lead of this novel, as well as the third young master of the Baek clan, one of the 10 greatest clan in the martial world. And, with the scene showing Baeklee Yeon in the hands of an unknown character with glowing eyes with tears chroming from them, with captions stating the holy sacrifice that awakened the main character who knew only him. Suddenly glass breaks and shows that Baeklee Yeon daughter who accidentally broke glass, with her whole body shivering to her, think to herself it's strange. It's been several years since I read the novel, but I can clearly remember all the things that will happen. With tears coming from her eyes, suddenly background character stating she broke the cup, so unlucky especially at a funeral, and with another stating as expected she has no talent for martial arts. With the protagonist hands shivering, stating to herself with my father's death acting as the signal, there will be a surge of characters dying from a rampant slaughter occurring for the next 10 years. With Baeklee Yeon daughter cutting her hand in the glass thinking het unzable. With the moon and the night sky, a voice shouts, let's run away. And we find out it's Baeklee Yeon daughter is running in the night, stating if I stay as quiet as a rat, no one will know about the existence of a supporting villain like me, if I run away, and start a new life, forgetting the original storyline. But suddenly Baeklee Yeon daughter get hit by a needle out of nowhere in her eyes and falls to the ground with bleary vision, saying to herself huh, with next scene showing the assassin who threw the projectile at our protagonist stating to himself that's disappointing. With the assassin landing on the ground gracefully, with Baeklee Yeon daughter hair on the ground with blood, and now we are seeing the assassin that threw Baeklee Yeon daughter eyes, with the assassin saying to her for the daughter of Baeklee Yeon to be in this state. With the background showing the moon, we see a close-up of the assassin with captions stating there are levels to villainy. With the protagonist blooding from her head thinking to herself why, if a dull villain like me exists, with the assassin asking her are you curious? So, with the assassin saying something to her protagonist but it was too late as her consciousness was fading away, and with her protagonist saying her last words it's getting darker, and so, on that day our protagonist died in vain. But suddenly the scene switches over to someone saying out loud it hurts, and another saying that daughter is so useless. With bottles and a teapot in the background, with someone saying it hurts, Dad. It hurts, please spare me. Suddenly a girl awakens and looking at the ceiling, the girl says, what? To herself, what exactly? Is this my room? I'm pretty sure I died. Yes, that's right, this young girl is our protagonist, and now our protagonist is in bed with a Gilmore in her eyes, with someone holding her hand, with Baeklee Yeon looking at his daughter, worried about her, with tears coming from his eyes, with his daughter thinking Baeklee Yeon, and then she said father? Looking curiously at her father, thinking, putting that earlier scene aside. Maybe this is a scene from my past that I'm watching in the afterlife? Father received the scorn of many women for having an incredibly beautiful appearance, but he was upright and just, befitting of someone who was responsible for the main character's development. Due to that reason, I had only ever seen father cry once. With tears falling from her father's eyes, he says to her, I'm sorry. I should have been by your side to protect you. With captions stating, right now. He's saying the same things as in my memory. His daughter was thinking with a curiously look on her face with a smile, thinking to herself, though maybe it's because this is a scene from the past. With her telling her father, no, Dad, don't cry. With a surprised look on his face, his daughter thinking that expression of confusion is a first even though we had been together for several years. With a sad look on her face with her saying our relationship soured as time passed. I don't remember his expressions of surprise or joy. Or even the last expression he had before he died. His daughter was thinking with her turning her head and wiping her tears with her thinking he was a good person. Why in the world did he have to sacrifice himself for the main character? With her imagining herself in front of her father headstone, with the scene showing Baeklee Yeon worried about his daughter thinking he was only a character in a novel, and he was incredibly clumsy, but he always treated me with sincerity. To think I would finally realize that after he passed away. With Baeklee Yeon daughter wiping her tears thinking in my past life and current life, he was the only person who did anything for me throughout my life. Suddenly the daughter started getting up saying to her father, I'm sorry for everything, and turns to her father with a smile on her face saying I love you. Baeklee Yeon daughter thinking in the back of her head, it doesn't matter whether this is seen from the past or a dream or hell. Baeklee Yeon with a surprise expression on his face, everything's alright now that I did the last thing I wanted to do. The daughter thinking, Baeklee Yeon looks quite surprised, now I can close my eyes in peace. Suddenly Baeklee Yeon embraces his daughter with a Gilmore in her eyes. Baeklee Yeon hugs his daughter. Baeklee Yeon daughter surprised by his unforeseen action, this is father's cool scent from my memories. Baeklee Yeon with a tear dripping from his eyes saying I thought you hated me, but it seems far from it, I'm sorry, I was unaware of your feelings, it's all my fault. His daughter still with a surprised look on her face while Baeklee Yeon continues to say I'm sorry while he is still hugging her. We can all agree, right? Baeklee Yeon is a top G father. With Baeklee Yeon daughter realizing that she went back in time, she started to get flustered thinking to herself, if I actually went back to the past, will I be able to be loved this time? The daughter looking at the characters of the novel in her head. Finally we know our protagonist's name is Yeon. Yeon thinking finally she can be loved and live a different life from her past, stating to herself it begins now.